The Toyota Innova Zenix just launched in two variants. I think the hybrid variant at 1.9 million pesos offers very good value for money. It has ADAS, a 360 camera, power leather seats, and of course it has a hybrid system which has a number of benefits including better fuel efficiency and coating exemption. At its price, it is a bit of a unicorn as there are no other 3-row hybrids that offer the same features. The Zenix V, or the non-hybrid on the other hand, sells for 1.6 million pesos, and at that price, it does lose a lot of the features of the hybrid, including ADAS, the 360 camera, the leather seats, Toyota's safety sense, the ottomans, and of course the hybrid system. I think it still offers decent value for a Toyota, but at this price bracket, it does have stiffer competition from newer brands from a certain neighboring country. In this video, we'll compare the Zenix V, the non-hybrid, to the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro and the Geely Okavango. Now I have driven both the Okavango and the Tiggo 8 Pro, but I haven't driven the Zenix yet, so we won't include categories such as NVH, ride quality, or handling. Perhaps we'll include those in a future video. The Toyota Innova Zenix now features more rugged styling. It has a longer hood and more boxy proportions. It still looks like an Innova, but this one looks like it has a gym membership. The Okavango looks like a crossover MPV hybrid. It has boxy proportions, a relatively long hood, and a short front overhang. It does look more like an SUV than the Zenix, which looks more like an MPV. I think the Tiggo 8 Pro is the best looking of the three. I think the design is a good balance between macho and sleek, and I think it looks less like an MPV than its other two rivals. Now I know this is a very subjective category. I'll keep the scores really close so it won't affect the final score so much. While the Zenix now looks a bit more macho, it still looks very much like an Innova, one of the most common cars on the road. And as such, I would put it in last place. At second place is the Geely Okavango with its more SUV-like styling, and at first place is the Tiggo 8 Pro. Next category is the interior. The interior of the Zenix looks pretty good for a Toyota. They finally ditched the aftermarket 8-inch infotainment screen that they use in almost all of their other vehicles and replaced it with a 10-inch unit that looks more modern and better integrated into the dashboard. It also gets a leather-wrapped steering wheel and some soft touch materials on the dashboard. However, there are still quite a lot of hard plastics, and it still gets fabric seats. The interior of the Okavango looks better than the Zenix. It still has a lot of hard plastics on the dashboard, but it's more visually pleasing to the eye. It looks like a lot more effort was given to the aesthetics. It also comes with leather seats, the driver's seat is power adjustable, and it also has a panoramic sunroof. The interior of the Tiggo 8 Pro is vastly superior to both the Zenix and the Okavango. Almost everything that you can touch is covered in soft touch materials. The leather feels more supple. It has butterfly headrests which are very soft, and they also hold your head in place when you're asleep. It has 3% memory settings. It has a bigger 12-inch screen. It has second row seats that are fit for a VIP. A panoramic sunroof. In terms of interior quality, this is a couple of notches higher than both the Okavango and the Zenix. Next category is cargo space. At third place is the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro. With the third row seats up, I can barely fit my camera backpack behind the third row. I have to put it there sideways because otherwise it wouldn't fit. If you fold the second row seats though, it does have a lot of space. But you'd have to sacrifice one or two seats if you want to load bigger bags. At second place is the Geely Okavango. The Okavango has a bit more space, although it has to be noted that it's still not a lot. You still would not be able to fit a medium-sized luggage bag at the back with the third row up. It has about 50 liters more space than the Tiggo 8 Pro, so at least you'd be able to fit a larger backpack behind the third row. And at first place is the Toyota Zenix. The Zenix has the most cargo space with the third row up. It has enough space to fit a medium-sized luggage bag. And now that Toyota has ditched the outdated folding mechanism of the previous Innova, where you fold the seats sideways, the space with the seats down has vastly been improved. The third row seats now fold flat to the floor, which is a major improvement. It has to be noted though that while you have more space in the Zenix with the third row up, and even with the third row down, you can't fold the second row captain seats flat to the floor, at least as far as I know. You can only move them forward. So if you need to load really long items, you might have a bit less space in the Zenix. But still, the Zenix has the most usable space for regular daily stuff, like loading groceries in the back with your family in tow, or driving people to the airport with their cargo. I think the Zenix has the most practical space of the three. Next category is tech. The hybrid Toyota Innova Zenix is pretty advanced for its price, but the non-hybrid Zenix V loses a lot of that advanced tech. It doesn't have ADAS, no 360 camera, no power seats. It still has the basics covered though, like the reverse camera, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and it still gets the same 10-inch screen. At second place is the Okavango. It has a couple of tech features that are lacking on the Zenix V, like it has a 360 camera, a power driver's seat, it has a power-operated panoramic sunroof, it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but it does have a phone mirroring function. Now the Tiggo 8 Pro has the most impressive feature set of all three vehicles. Like the Okavango, it has a 360 camera, but it also has ADAS features like adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, autonomous braking. It has 3-person memory settings, both front seats are power adjustable, it has voice recognition. This one has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Overall, in terms of electronic features, the Tiggo 8 Pro outpaces both the Okavango and the hybrid Zenix. So it's in first place. At third place is the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro. The Tiggo 8 Pro's third row seats are okay. I'm 5'8" and I can sit there relatively comfortably. I got about an inch of headroom. The room is adjustable and it also gets very comfortable headrests. For shorter trips, I think it's okay, but it's not as spacious as the Okavango. The Okavango's bigger and squarer proportions translates to more interior space, especially at the third row. I have more headroom on the Okavango than the Tiggo 8 Pro. Now, while the Okavango and the Tiggo 8 Pro are more like crossovers, the Zenix is a full-blooded MPV, and as such, it is designed with practicality as a number one priority. It has the most spacious third row of all three vehicles. The flooring is low and flat. I have a lot of shoulder room and plenty of headroom. My knees are at a comfortable angle, and I can imagine myself sitting at the third row for longer trips. And the last category is the price. At third place is the Geely Okavango. Surprisingly, the most expensive of these three vehicles is not Toyota. It's Geely. When the Geely Okavango Urban Plus was launched more than a year ago, It was priced at a little over 1.4 million pesos. A lot lower than its current price of 1.79 million. It is now one of the most expensive 7-seater crossovers in this class. Considering that it has fewer features than the Tiggo 8 Pro, it doesn't score well in the value department either. So the Okavango places last in this category. The Chery Tiggo 8 Pro sells for 1.69 million pesos. It is in the middle of the pack in terms of pricing. And at first place is the Zenix. The Zenix beats the Tiggo 8 Pro by 28,000 pesos, which is not really a lot. In terms of value though, I'd say this is in the middle of the pack. If you're into captain seats for whatever reason, this is the only one that offers captain seats. It doesn't have as much tech as the Okavango, but with the almost 100,000 peso difference, it is justifiable. And this also comes with a Toyota badge, which I'm sure accounts for something. Adding all the scores up, the Tiggo 8 Pro comes out in first place, followed by the Zenix, and then the Okavango. In terms of electronic features, driver aids, and interior quality, the Tiggo 8 Pro far outstrips both the Zenix and the Okavango. And that's why there's a huge gap in the scores in those categories. Now, for those who are not yet willing to buy a Chinese vehicle, the Zenix offers excellent practicality and value. It's the most affordable of the three, and it has the most cargo space behind the third row. Now, the Okavango was a very good product prior to the price update. It's spacious, it has excellent noise insulation, but at almost 1.8 million pesos and lacking ADAS features, it is getting left behind by the competition. It scores decently on all categories except for the price, which is getting hard to justify considering how well equipped the Tiggo 8 Pro is and the fact that the other competitor wears a Toyota badge.